Rising before the sun, Sam, Maria, Lakshmi, Aishwarya and Mia entered the Kalyanakatta Tonsure hall, where the air was thick with anticipation and the gentle chanting of Govinda, Govinda. They approached a middle-aged barber named Raghavan, a serene figure dressed in a simple dhoti, with a small brass vessel of holy water at his side and his steel holy blades lying neatly on a low table. The women removed their scarves or hair ties, allowing their long locks to fall around their shoulders, and Raghavan began by carefully pouring ladles of water over each head, saturating the hair until it clung in dark, glossy strands against their scalps and necks. His deft fingers massaged the holy water ensuring that every strand was thoroughly wetted, the droplets trickling down foreheads and temples. He recited a quiet mantra under his breath, an invocation he believed gave the blades a sacred purpose, and steadied his hand for the solemn act of removing a pilgrim's hair in the presence of the divine. Mia was first to sit on the low wooden stool. With gentle confidence, Raghavan guided her head forward, hooking one hand over the top of her damp hair and using the other to tilt her chin so that her face angled downward. He slipped 2 fingers around her ear, catching it to keep it out of the razor's path, and with a soft sarak, he drew the blade against her scalp in smooth, practiced motions. The wet locks slid down to the floor in dark clumps. Every few strokes, he paused to dip the razor into a small bowl of water, rinsing away the buildup of hair while the hush of murmured prayers surrounded them. Once her crown was bare, Raghavan moved around to clear the nape of her neck, pressing just firmly enough to remove every strand but never causing pain. In the final stage, he carefully shaved Mia's sideburns and any fine hair on her face except for her neatly shaped eyebrows, though, after a respectful glance and a quick, silent inquiry, he did remove a few downy strands that formed a barely there mustache above her upper lip and the wispy baby hair near her temples, leaving her face utterly smooth. Mia exhaled in awe when she felt the cool air against every inch of newly exposed skin. Sam, who had watched Mia's transformation with both fascination and trepidation, took her turn next. Raghavan repeated the same process, drenching Sam's shoulder-length hair with more ladles of the blessed water, pressing gently on the crown of her head, and maneuvering her ear to the side before gliding the blade along her scalp. Each pass of the razor made that gentle scraping sound, sarak, and Sam shivered as she felt the hair fall away, replaced by a surprising sense of liberation. Raghavan diligently checked for any stray strands behind her ears, at her nape, and along her jawline. Once he reached Sam's face, he noticed the faintest trace of fine hair on her cheeks and upper lip, remnants of typical teenage fuzz. With a few precise flicks of the razor, he cleared them away, pausing momentarily to make sure he did not disturb her eyebrows' shape. When he finished, Sam lifted her hand to her newly bare scalp and, catching her reflection in a small mirror, she marveled at the total transformation, tears of relief and wonder welling in her eyes. Lakshmi, her silver-streaked hair spilling over her shoulders, approached the stool with a mixture of reverence and excitement. She had spent decades living near the temple, yet never had she experienced the full act of tonsure. Raghavan gently poured the last of the holy water over her, working it into her scalp before beginning the shave. Because her hair was thicker and longer, he took extra care, drawing the blade in steady arcs and pausing frequently to rinse off the clumps that had collected. Lakshmi silently offered prayers for her family and for the many travelers she had welcomed over the years. As her hair tumbled away, Raghavan delicately made sure to remove the shorter grays near her sideburns and around her forehead. Lakshmi's eyes remained closed for most of the ritual, but when she opened them at the end, she found the mirror reflection of a smooth, clean scalp and a face nearly free of even the lightest peach fuzz. Only her eyebrows remained, 2 neat arches above eyes brimming with gratitude. Aishwarya, the youngest, giggled nervously as Raghavan methodically wetted her thick, dark hair. While part of her was giddy with anticipation, another part was apprehensive about her new appearance. But the sensation of the blade cool steel sliding in a measured motion captured her attention immediately. She felt Raghavan's calloused fingertips gently shift her ear forward to clear hair from the delicate skin behind it. Every pass of the razor sent a slight tingle down her spine, accompanied by the sarak-sarak rhythm. Raghavan's practiced hands then moved to her cheeks and upper lip, where a faint preteen softness resided. Though barely noticeable, he dutifully shaved it all, drawing the blade in brief strokes that left her skin baby smooth. Aishwarya watched with wide eyes as each lock landed in a growing mound around her feet, and once Raghavan finished, she lifted her hands to her bald head and burst into laughter, half in shock, half in joy, the brush of her palms against her bare scalp an electrifying novelty. Finally, Maria lowered herself onto the stool, steadying her breath. She had come to India to support her daughter, but now realized she, too, wanted this act of cleansing, both a literal and spiritual shedding. Raghavan repeated the patient process, pouring the sanctified water over Maria's hair until it was thoroughly damp, the water cascading onto her shoulders. He reached around to move her ear and angled the razor along her temple, sending her once familiar locks fluttering to the floor. Maria found herself overwhelmed with emotion. Each stroke of the blade seemed to release pent-up worries, regrets, and attachments she had unknowingly clung to. As Raghavan carefully shaved around her face, removing any fine hairs near her lips and along her jaw, Maria felt tears slip down her cheeks. By the time he rinsed the razor for the last time, she sensed a remarkable lightness not only on her scalp but in her heart. When all 5 women had finished, Raghavan anointed their smooth heads with a small dab of sandalwood-scented oil, rubbing it gently to soothe any razor burn. Collecting their shed hair with reverent efficiency, he placed it in a bin destined for donation, part of a centuries-old tradition in which the hair is often sold or used to fund temple services. The women stood in a silent circle, every scalp gleaming, each face free of all but meticulously preserved eyebrows, feeling the cool air caress skin that had never before been exposed. The echoes of sarak-sarak seemed to linger, as if reminding them of the old fears, doubts, and histories they had left behind in that hall. Stepping outside into the early morning sun, tears and laughter intermixed as they touched each other's faces and heads with awe, every subtle breeze a new sensation against their fully shaved scalps, each now bright with a raw, undeniable sense of renewed identity.